Well, welcome to day 11, finally, day 11 of my anniversary trek across East Sussex. So by the end of today, I should have walked over 106 miles, which is 26 miles. It's a marathon more than I was expecting. But today I'm heading out of the park here through the village, over towards Langley, down towards Sovereign Harbour, then along the seafront to Eastbourne Pier, and then I should do the very last section of my walk later on today, finishing at the Cumberland Hotel at 7:30 tonight. It's just a couple of roads away here in Hampden Park where we had a starling that was trapped in a fat ball feeder. And we had the job of having to cut it out, but of course because it was so tightly caught in there, we had to be extremely careful that we didn't damage its delicate legs or wings in the process. I'm now walking up the Hydney here in Hampden Park, and it was back here that Anne and Dave Cornford used to live, and they used to run the Eastbourne Wildlife Rescue many years ago now. Sadly they're no longer with us, but I can remember always going out and doing like the toad patrols with them in the evenings in the wet weather down at Littlington. Here in Cade Street, if we ever get phone calls from here, we're guaranteed it's going to be either a hedgehog or a pigeon, almost guaranteed to be. Further over is Percival Road, and we get loads of hedgehogs, loads of pigeons, all from those areas as well. Very common place for us to visit. Every summer we have issues with gull chicks jumping off rooftops, and we have to quite often come down either with nets or ladders to get them back up onto the roof. Quite a common incident here in Hampden Park. In July 2011 we got called to one of the warehouses here in Hampden Park after a sparrowhawk managed to get inside, and we had to go there at night time, which was the only convenient time to sort of try and catch it and get it out. It took a lot of doing, but we did manage it, and eventually took it back to the centre, held it overnight and took it back out during the daytime and released it, because sparrowhawks are actually a little bit frightened of flying in the dark, so therefore it's always best to keep them in overnight and release them in daylight. Also, round by Premier Inn here, we also had a road casualty fox last year. In April 2010, we got called out to a swan that had crash land and got stuck in a fence by one of the small ponds here, just off to my right. Down at Shinewater Park here, we've had numerous rescues over the years. We've also had an incident of a sewerage spill, which was quite a big incident, with us having to catch a number of swans that were affected and their youngsters. We also had issues with this weir here, where a swan got separated from its partner, and as the water level on this side dropped, it couldn't get its way back through and over the weir. The gap was too high, and with the bushes that were here at the time, it couldn't work its way through. So we had to give it a helping hand because it was getting quite distressed, and we were getting a lot of phone calls from local residents.
Yay! So we went all the way to the top.
Whilst walking along here, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Tony and Claire Needs, based at Polegate. They've got one of our ambulances based at Polegate, and they've been doing rescue work for years now, years and years, and especially Tony's done a lot of nighttime work for us in the past, and they'll always go out to whatever's needed and do their utmost to help. So a big thank you to them as one of our longest standing rescue volunteers. I've done quite a few talks here at St Barnabas Church. If your community group would like to contact WRAS and have us give a presentation on our work, or we do also do presentations on deer and hedgehog awareness, get in touch, have a look on our website wildlifeambulance.org and find out more information. This is Langley Pond, and again this is one of those locations where we've been repeatedly called, primarily to deal with injured ducks, injured geese, injured swans. We even featured on an episode of Animals 24/7 back in the early 2000s. In 2008 we had issues with the swans here at Langley Pond, and they kept wandering around the housing estate. We've even had them wandering right over towards Priory Road, and we generally tried to get them safely walk them back to their pond. But yeah, luckily they seem to have stopped doing that in more recent years. It's just at the top of this close here where we had a fox to rescue. It got stuck inside a shed, came in through a damaged window. The window got repaired, but they hadn't realised that there was a fox stuck inside. So we had to go and catch it, bring it in for the daytime and released it late at night. Priory Road's just behind me here, and a few years ago I was invited to come down here by the archery club. To give it a go, but also because they'd spent some time raising some funds for us. So if your community group would like to raise funds for us, please get in touch and I'd be more than happy to come down, talk to you, get involved in whatever activities you're doing and support you in your efforts to raise funds. Got a young heron just over here. I don't know if you can see it. Just here. Bless. I'm now at the back of Manton Court next to Leeds Avenue on the cycle path, and the stream and the cycle path going in that way goes towards the Birch Road Industrial Estate. And it was here that we had quite a major oil spill. Two premises on the industrial estate had oil delivered. They ordered too much, it overflowed, their oil traps didn't work and the oil came into this stream here. And it unfortunately affected 4 families of swans, and we had to catch them, rescue them, bring them in. But we actually had to keep them for several months whilst this area improved and it became clean enough for them to be returned again. I've just come into Harwood Close at Langley Point as I head down towards Sovereign Harbour, and it's in one of the houses here that we had to rescue 3 fox cubs. The vixen had nested under an old fish pond, an old disused fish pond, but when they were starting to clear all the debris away, they didn't realise that she was under there with her cubs. Disturbed her, she ran off, leaving the youngsters there. They picked them up and brought them inside and called us. So we came straight back down, made them safe, and then looked at returning them to Mum late that night. So we had to sit in the summer house whilst we tried to keep an eye out for Mum and wait for her to return. I'm now by the lifeboat station here at Sovereign Harbour, and in 2015 we had a seal rescue from their slipway here, and it was at the bottom of their slipway and it was clearly injured, in need of rescue. So we had the job of rescuing it from down the bottom there. Okie dokie. We got called down to Sovereign Harbour because a boat found a fox in the water out at sea here, and they managed to get it out the water on board their boat and brought back to the marina here. We believe that the fox may have fallen off of one of the breakwaters here into the water. We took the fox back to our centre, and after a few days rest the fox actually made a complete recovery, and we're able to bring it back here and release it where we know there are dens and foxes at night on a regular basis. My trek wouldn't be complete without stopping here, Princess Park in Eastbourne. Lovely place, this great place to walk around, but we've rescued so many swans and ducks here over the years. I've lost count how many, to be honest, but we've also released loads of them here. So generally, if we find swans that have crash landed or can't be released just in a local lake or river somewhere, then we bring them here because this is a non-territorial flock of swans. I'm at Fisherman's Green here on Eastbourne Seafront, and the late Monica Russell, who used to be one of our trustees, sadly she passed away a while ago, helped me with a swan rescue here in the car park. The swan crash landed. This was late in the evening, and she came out, bless her, with Brian, and gave us a hand to catch it. On the beach here near Fisherman's Green, we had to rescue a seal. British Divers Marine Life Rescue asked us to come out, and it turned out to be a grey seal. Now, whereas most of the seals we've rescued along the East Sussex coastline have been commons, or harbour seals as they should be called, we very rarely have had greys until the last few years, and now we're seeing them more and more frequently. I'm not far off Eastbourne Pier now, and several times we've been called here to deal with birds that have been entangled in fishing line. Some of them have been hanging down below the pier or at the end of the pier, and it's taken a lot of doing to get them rescued using our long reach and rescue poles. Well, it's magically night time, and I'm here on Eastbourne Pier to start my very last section of my anniversary trek across East Sussex. I'm a bit disappointed this is coming to an end. I've really enjoyed doing this, and your support and your donations and your sponsorship has been very, very much appreciated. So I'm looking forward to this. I've got my last little leg of the journey to go to the Cumberland Hotel for our celebration. This is my last little video of my trek across East Sussex and my last rescue to report on, and I'm right by the bandstand, not far from where I'm finishing, and we had a porpoise that stranded on the beach here. It wasn't a brilliant outcome. We had put a lot of effort and energy into trying to save it, but sadly that wasn't a very good outcome. But we did have a seal on the beach here, a young seal that was injured, and that we managed to rescue, get over to RSPCA Mallee Dams, and that did have a happy ending and was able to release it back to the wild. My last rescue update of this trek across East Sussex. I must say a big thank you to all of our staff, all of our volunteers, because these rescues would not happen without them. They do an amazing job round the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. This charity is far bigger than me now, and I just take my hat off to all and every single one of our members of staff and volunteers for all of they do. Thank you so much, guys. And obviously our donors for supporting us, because without them we just wouldn't exist. Thank you very much.